Выходила на берег Катюша, на высокий берег, на крутой.
Hello everyone, this is Mr. Katusha, and today I have another video of Rome 2. Today we're playing on the Antioch map, and we are being attacked by the Romans. There's Antony's Rome, and here are some Romans about to get on these walls. So I went through OBS, and most of my videos have been a little blurry, so I changed the settings, and hopefully it's better. So starting off today, like I said, we have Roman armies, so we have Antony's Rome over here, and the two default Romes against two factions which are Greek, so I'm playing as the Spartans. They're a really good faction. Carthage, which is also pretty good, Rome's big enemy, over here with some Libyan infantry, and spears and pikes back here with the Macedonians, which the Macedonians are also really good. So we have a lot of good factions going up against each other today. Now my friend Burning Sparrow, again like I mentioned, he's playing as Macedon in this battle. So we have a lot of troops holding this inner keep with a lot of defenses around, and a lot of these sharp stone beds which come in handy later, as they do slow down enemies. So this is a very pretty map. It would be cool if it was a port assault, but we're just playing a regular city assault. Which you can see here that there's some water, which are always fun to have port assaults. But a very beautiful map. Over here I have some of my Rhodian slingers. Usually my setup for Sparta is pretty basic, usually the same. Mercenary Cretan archers, 2 units of that, and 2 units of Rhodian slingers. I have a lot of my hoplites as well, moving up here, some Spartan pikemen back here. Now this battle is interesting because the unit sizes are very small, so I wasn't super used to that, but it went okay. 3 units of Spartan hoplites over there, 2 units of Rhodian slingers retreating, and around these streets just a lot of hoplites guarding these very vital choke points. Over here these tortoises have broken down the walls, troops flooding in now. Some Hastati that have taken quite some losses. Charging in his lighter troops first. Pretty good idea. Back here some Praetorian guards, so his heavier troops in the back here. Antony has not quite pushed in, only about 2 units, which is heavily on fire right now. Only 47% of fire damage, only 4 over here. Legionary cohort moving in. So it's really important that we can hold off these spearmen, which is pretty much all the Roman armies are made out of, or the swordsmen. Some archers coming up here, some legionary cohort moving forward. So they're already in the city streets, so we gotta get ready for this. I'm retreating my troops that had got some shots off earlier on the guys on the walls. Now I see that they're not really coming through this area, so I believe I do move these troops back over here later on. Looks like I'm actually moving them up over here. A lot of streets, a lot of stuff to defend. Over here, Carthage. A lot of troops holding these streets. This battle is going to be a little bit of a longer run, so but still pretty fun nonetheless. My general over here, here's a Sparta. It looks like my Greek man over here from the Bastion up on the wall, but I'm pretty sure it got taken out pretty early on. Romans have captured the gates now, so we're gonna have to be pretty careful that they don't push through our lines. But we do want to eventually retreat back into this keep once we've killed some of the troops at least. I'm gonna forward it here. Looks like I'm moving some of my troops to defend this small road here from these Antony soldiers. Some Romans pushing forward now. The guy's really cool looking. The wolf and the mask. So pushing more troops through the streets now, being pretty aggressive. I'm moving my Royal Spartans back, and I believe my pikemen as well, because I'm going to need them in the later game. They're taking casualties from that tower. Advancing some of my hoplites now to this area. I'm going to hold off these streets here, this section of building. Now I see that there's not really a ton of use in having these troops all the way over here, so I believe I move them back over to this area later on. There's just too many Romans to deal with over here. It's pushing in its Praetorian Guard now. So the Romans already in early game taking the walls and most of the buildings. Still having very healthy troops. Very good looking units here. Pushing forward. All these Romans. Seems like he's now pushing more troops in through the gate. Eagle cohort, so some of his heavier troops in the back behind his other units in cohort up here. The Evocati cohort. Now I have one man still stuck in this building, so not sure what I'm going to do with him. Hopefully something be kind of funny. Over here the Royal Spartans still holding back. I'm retreating my pikemen back into the gates. Seems like they may have hit some of these spike traps, but at least it hasn't killed off too many troops. I'm gonna retreat back to these pikemen. So forming a pretty strong defense in the center, but still moving troops out to at least damage their armies and slow them down before they just charge in. Maybe take out some of their archers, because it's going to be really important in being defensive. Over here, some of their troops firing off arrow shots, doing a lot of damage here. Actually not a ton of damage, but still losing troops, which is not good. Taking a couple of troops every volley. More Syrian archers moving up, but not really supported by anything, so looks like I'm going to shoot my Cretan archers. They're going to fire at their troops. So it seems like we got a couple of hits, but the buildings are kind of in the way here. Now they do have a lot of Romans, Praetorians in the back here, ready to push up. So we're going to be careful when dealing with that. More Roman troops coming through now. Antony's Rome pushing this flank really hard. And about 10 units over here. More troops coming in now. That's going to be really hard for these only 3 Carthage units to deal with. Now they are heavy, very heavy infantry, but so are these troops, so it's going to be unit-wise pretty even, but they are outnumbered, so the Romans should have it there. These archers taking out more men now, weakening their armor. It's definitely not good. I have my 3 units of Spartan hoplites over here holding this road, making sure that we don't get outflanked over here. It's pretty nice buildings here. Some of these troops getting shots off, but it looks right here like the Equites are getting a charge in, which is not good. Coming through the streets here, getting ready for a charge into my archers. A little too slow, couldn't get back to my lines in time, but I advanced them. They did some damage to my troops morale-wise, but they didn't lose too many troops. Well, this unit did, but this unit is still very well intact. The other one losing about half.
Yes, Commander.
So falling back there, taking no casualties at all, which is very good for the Romans and not very good for me. Pushing around more shock cav. Some of these archers back here still having a lot of ammo and health, firing heavy volleys into these troops. Now the I keep wanting to call them the Libyans because most of his troops are Libyan, but the Carthaginians here pushing up more troops, 2 more units, still though heavily outnumbered by these Romans, and taking lots of fire from the archers over there. Now, it's never fun to have a match where you're just having all of your troops in the keep, so I do like a battle where there's at least some fighting in the beginning. Looks like now the Romans are pushing up a lot of troops in Testudo formation, 2 units of Praetorians, and 2 units of armored legionaries ready to push forward. Now, I am trying some kind of attempt to do some damage to these Praetorians, but not really much going on. It's kind of useless to fire missiles at a unit of Testudo, or unit in Testudo. Looks like Equites are coming back for a charge, but I do get my troops back in time. This time. Spartan Hoplite still holding strong. I believe I do retreat them further back though, back to about here, because this corner is just not favorable. Because they could just come around through the corner and mess up one unit rather than coming on head-on with all units. Pushing up some Balearic slingers that have taken some casualties. Still having some cav in the back. This Rome's still collecting over there, so the latest to come in, Antony's Rome came in pretty quickly, as well as this Rome over here. Unit of Praetorians, definitely not good to lose a very elite unit like that so early on. Only about 3 troops left in this unit, which is not good for a Praetorian unit. It looks like once they made opening points, they dropped the siege towers over here, which is why they're just waiting around like that. Now I still do guard this area, I believe, but I think I push more troops back because he moves from there. Looks like the Romans are going to advance pretty soon. Some of their Balearic slingers moving up. These poor Carthaginians over here taking heavy fire from these arrows. Lots of fire coming in. Not literal fire, but another volley gonna come in here soon. Hopefully they'll run out of ammo before the whole unit gets depleted. Check the other side. It looks like the Romans have advanced even more now. The Romans over here still not moving that many troops up. It looks like they're moving troops through this street towards the Carthaginians. A little slow with that. Pushing through the streets now with some pretty light units of Hastati, but also some Praetorians, so a very big gap in between the units, so medium and then very heavy. Pushing through the streets here. A lot of Praetorian guard though. Definitely not a good sight. Looks like I'm gonna retreat my general here. So some archers coming up now, damaging even more of these poor Carthaginian troops before taking on the Romans in melee. Over here the Romans still haven't advanced, holding back. I've moved two other units of Hoplites up to help out. 4 units back here, 3 over there, so I believe I do move one of these units at least over here. Pushing up my troops now. So it looks like these troops are about to advance forward and take out these archers, which aren't actually that well defended. But he has left a lot of troops, only 2 units here left to defend. Over here, it looks like we're starting to engage Praetorian Guard and my Hoplites. I outnumber them, and my troops are even more heavy than the Praetorians. Moving 2 more units, so it looks pretty good over here. Some cav is coming in. A big gap here they could run through. Or they could even run around this street and attack my troops in the back, but it looks like he is going to go maybe for these spearmen. Carthaginians being even more aggressive than the Romans here. Looks like some of Antony's Rome, the Evocati cohort moving forward. My Spartans holding strong over here. Taking out quite a few, but not too much of these troops over here. Some cav thrown in the mix there. Now the Romans have moved their artillery into the walls now, so we're going to have to be pretty careful of that. Roman Bastilla moving up. The cohort here seem like they're going to throw their javelins pretty soon. Not too sure what they're doing. There we go, throwing some spears, taking out a lot of troops there. Some of those Libyan infantry. Over here, more Libyan infantry engaging the Romans, but losing pretty badly here. The armored legionaries moving up to engage them. Not taking any casualties at all, but certainly killing a lot of these Libyan infantry. Over here, these late Carthaginian hoplites facing off against the Stadi. They should be able to win the battle here, as they're much heavier. The Velites, I believe I said that right, throwing their javelins or their spears, it seems like, not javelins. Over here, still fighting against them, but they're moving in Praetorians and Mortuarii, so more troops here. I'm going to fall back my troops to defend this position. So some troops here. I love the horses with the little helmet there. It's pretty cool. So over here, a major blockade there, blocking any troops. Looks like the Romans are about to swing around into the flank of these hoplites. Maybe they can beat the Hastati in time or just fall back, but they are doing a pretty good job of cleaning up the Hastati here. But not doing so well on the other side. Looks like they were totally wiped out over here by these Antony's Rome. So the Carthaginians, I did not realize this, so I tried to hold on. Retreating most of my troops, all the troops I could get. But definitely not good here. Carthaginians losing pretty much their whole army. I get my general out, but it looks like my other troops might not be able to get out of here. Over here, these Spartans fighting to the last man, but more and more Roman troops are coming over, and it's hard to fight against. So Romans over here, moving forward. Antony's Rome, his legionaries are pushing, and they will get in my way, unfortunately. Now here, I knew I might not be able to make it out. I do outnumber them, which I thought I could just shock them real quick, their morale, and push through. But they do falter me here, and I need as much time as I can get to run out before all the other Romans come in. Over here, I'm starting to lose against the Romans. Losing that flank, so the outer defenses are being devastated, and my troops are trying to escape, but it's not going so well. I'm trying to rush them. The only unit from the outside that made it in back into the keep was my general. That was it. Everyone else got wiped out. Carthaginians, Pretty much their entire army except for some pikes and archers and spears back here. Now some of my units do manage to kind of squeeze through, but a lot of other units got stuck here against these Romans pushing in through the flank.
As you command!
So it's a very close call here. Only 2 of my units make it back. The others get stuck in melee. Now I do weaken their army quite a bit, killing a lot of Hastati here, as well as some of these legionaries, but they do get a lot of damage on my troops, and I eventually lose all of these units here. Legatus over here, Equites. So moving more cav, more troops into the city. They still have spears out here, which I'm not sure. It looks like they're... It's kind of funny. I guess they're stuck on the ballista here. I think I called it a bastilla. Been playing too much Star Wars recently. These are really big ballistas. So only 2 units left over here. Well, 3. One of them's just broke though. I'm pushing back the Romans slightly, but my troops are starting to waver and eventually will be broken. Even the inner city seems to have taken, the inner part has taken some damage. Some of the buildings wrecked here. So getting those units out helped a little bit, but only about 2 of those units. Or I guess 3. I got 3 of them out. Kind of. But the other 3 are still trapped here, so a fight for the center here. The Stati are thinning out, and the Antony's Rome is still very powerful though. Some Spartans stuck in between some legionaries here. Looks like they're gonna retreat. Now pushing into circle and or encircle and kill off the last of these Spartans here. Spartans fighting valiantly, but in the end will be killed off. On this flank, it seems like I still have one very good unit of Royal Spartans who I spent a lot of money on with experience and the troop. The unit itself is very strong. Royal Spartans here fighting off, beating back some of these legionaries, but taking a lot of casualties. Now being, seems like one unit of armored legionaries came through the flank. Praetorians in the front, not looking too good. Looks like more legionaries are flooding through here. So that unit will be finished off. Over here we only have, actually it looks like they killed off all of my Spartans. There's about a few guys scattered in here who will be killed off. So pretty much no Spartans were able to escape. It doesn't seem like any at all actually were able to make it out of this engagement. So they just killed off some of the last Spartans. Looks like we're taking shots. That's definitely not good. Shots from the ballista or the honor guard, it seems like. Taking out both, well, this tower I think is already, by default it's already taken out, but this one, it's not good. We have lost both Scorpion Towers, which could probably aid us in this battle. Spartan Hoplites, some of these shots are floating in the air, I guess, but some shots are coming in and hitting these pikemen, which we need very healthy for the upcoming engagement. Gonna fast forward here. So Praetorian Guard, more troops just collecting themselves, getting ready for the upcoming assault, which will definitely be costly for both sides, but more of the Romans than ours. as I believe they do have more troops. And unlike the last one, this is a 3v3, not a 2, well, a 3v3, not a 3v4. So things are a little bit more even.
Advance the speed.
But I guess when you have 3 defenders versus 3 attackers, it's a little bit harder for the attackers. Here the stone bed, again slowing down the units, but still that'll help more against cav than it will infantry. These poor guys just running out of ammo. That would suck if you were an archer and they actually did send you in with just a little sword. Trying to break barricades here. Okay. It's their only job. They're taking a lot of casualties, but not really big units to waste ammo on. Now I'm starting to push up my pikemen to the front. Very good strategy here, using your almost all of your ammo to take out these pikemen, which will be a very crucial point in defending this area. Some archers up here from Macedon firing on the troops below. Now in this battle I haven't really gotten to see, or we haven't really gotten to see a lot from Macedon, but in this last engagement it gets really crazy. Some of my Rhodian slingers moving up to the walls, getting a better position. Some archer fire returning, can't even see those troops over there, can't even see the slingers. Firing shots just above the pikemen, down below, taking out a lot of troops here. Breaking that unit of Cretan archers is definitely good. I think these troops might have run out of ammo though, which is a pretty good trick. Being somewhat of a meat shield here, or definitely a meat shield, taking up a lot of ammo. So a very smart idea by the Antony's Rome there. My Spartan pikemen in the front, thirsty for some more blood, since pikemen haven't really been in this battle at all. Now our spikes and barricades are totally knocked down, but our stone beds are still there, which don't really do damage to units, but they definitely affect the speed of units. Again, more consistent shots coming in, landing really well into these pikemen here. Now they could do a little bit more damage, but still doing a lot of damage to my hoplites in the back here. This one, or the 3 units of Praetorians are still in the battle, which is very surprising. Pushing up here, maybe as a meat shield, I'm not sure. Won't be a very good one because there's only 3 guys. It's a pretty interesting story here. Just follow the Praetorians for a little while. Some velites, I always say that kind of wrong, up in the front. Definitely one of my favorite looking Roman units. These poor Praetorians are tired and have lost a lot of troops. Doesn't even show up. Oh wait, there we go. So they're winded and shaken. Moving up some legionaries, taking a lot of fire from those troops. But now in a testudo, but they have taken a lot of damage. Seems like a Roman velite has fallen into this spike pit there. Pushing up in a tortoise formation in the cinematic view here.
I've seen graveyard hordes 3 days dead, with more about them than you. Bastards! I will cut out your hearts and eat them.
So, they got a little extreme there, but they're pushing up by themselves. It seems like, wow, that's surprising. It looks like this thing has turned around, and we're firing back at them, kind of. I don't know. Another building has been destroyed. Pretty nice one too. But again, not too much going on for a little bit. It looks like now some of the Romans are pushing up, but not with any support. Antony's Rome, the main part of his army is still in the back, as well as some of these Romans left over here, some Praetorian Guard, still in the streets. So this attack, if it's not organized enough, may go really badly. Which is not what they want as an attacker. That probably hurt pretty bad. Some of these legionary cohort. Again, this cav is trying to move, as well as this the legionaries, and are very badly slowed down. Now missile fire is going to chew them up because of how slow they are. These steps are also kind of splitting up the unit, but they should recollect by the time they get to the top of the stairs. Pushing up, looking pretty fearsome for such a small unit. Taking a lot of fire though from the slingers. Archers back here, about to fire some velites again. Roman legionaries moving to the side. Should open fire pretty soon. There we go. Turning fire, but I believe they're aiming at the pikemen, which is a very good idea. Pikemen and missile troops do not get along very well. Mainly pikemen take a lot of casualties from missile fire. We'll speed this up just a little bit. Equites here, still just waiting there. Some legionary cohorts, so they haven't really advanced yet. And Antony's Rome, again, still just holding back. And I believe the ballista is out of ammo. No cav moving up yet. A big chunk of his army is moving up here. Sometimes it gets confusing in which Roman army is which, except for Antony's Rome, I can tell because the flag is different. Poor Romans charging right into the front of pikes here. Taking a lot of damage. So these Praetorians are getting killed here. More Romans moving up the stairs now. But still not quite enough troops to get past all of these pikemen up here. Get into cinematic mode. Taking heavy casualties here. Not a very favorable position for the Romans. Always forget my gods, but Hades and Ares always get mixed up. I believe Ares is Greek and Hades is Roman. I don't remember. Sometimes I feel like it's kind of funny because it'll be switched around when the Romans are talking or the Greeks are. But no god will save you here in this battle. Praetorians now pushing up, so most of their good troops. Now Antony's Rome is sending some troops around the flank here, which is kind of smart of an idea because there's only one unit of pikes, not the stack of troops here. My general now moving him up into the front. Make sure these pikemen stay in the battle because we're going to need them. So a lot of Romans coming into the front here, but still not enough troops to get past the pikemen, so they're just going to get wiped out without any support, so not really doing anything, and then our troops will be ready for the next assault. Sacred Band, if I can talk right, wearing a very nice purple here. Pretty cool pop of color to see in battle. Spearmen and pikemen are very good together. Spearmen help in short range, and then the pikemen hit from long range. Now, a very good pike unit is the Foot Companions, and the Macedonians have really good pikes here. Pretty long range with their pikes, and also just really cool looking. So we're holding back these Romans really effectively, pushing them back, charging up some Spartan hoplites here in the front with some support from the pikes as well. So pushing them back, a lot of units are starting to waver. It looks like the Syrian archers as well are starting to waver here. Praetorian Guard now pushing up, so some heavy troops getting ready to push in. Now it seems like the Antony's Rome doesn't really have a lot of elite troops, but he does have certainly a lot of pretty good standard troops that, and a lot of them. So he's gonna push up here. These Equites are routing now, only staying in this sharp stone bed for a long time and never really doing anything. We've pretty much entirely broken the Romans here, only 2 units left and they're about to break. So a very good job by the pikemen here holding them off. No, I believe they do have a few more ranged units somewhere, but again, they're running out of troops here and they're running out of time as well. So they're going to have to be really careful with what they do here. Praetorian Guard about to push up, but taking some casualties from the range up above, but not anything too substantial, nothing too much. Pushing up the stairs here. Definitely pretty fearsome looking troops. This unit over here still fighting. Some Spartan hoplites coming around the flank here though. Some of my own troops, my own boys over here, moving up more Praetorian Guard, but looks like they aren't totally committing yet. Antony's Rome though still holding back, the Roman faction with the most troops left, and not really doing too much. At this point though, we do still have troops. I have 2 units of Spartan pikemen in the back, thorax swordsmen, shield bearers, so a lot of troops still here in the back, and could be dangerous. Over here, Carthage with their elephants. This may turn the tide of the battle. Now we're getting ready for an attack by Antony's Rome, and here it looks like he's sending them up. We're going to send the elephants to break any of the last troops and push out, but right now it looks like he's not committing his whole army, only about half of it. So again, if he committed his full army, he might actually be able to make a breakthrough, but right now it's looking pretty bad for the Romans. Now here's a brilliant play by Antony's Rome. Stops right in front of our pikes, and we don't want to move out our pikes because sometimes when they walk, they get a bit glitchy and they could get knocked off. But they get their javelins out. They get in range just enough for their javelins to start throwing them. Or we're going to do that, but I push up my pikes. But here, again, throwing their javelins, taking a lot of casualties from that. Some troops moving up this small slope here. Some armored legionaries coming in. My pikemen are now being cut down. There's some on the flank here, holding strong. There's some Spartan hoplites as well, holding off against these legionaries and cohort. But it's definitely not looking good for my troops as it is right now. More Triarii moving up. Looks like this player's starting to move his Praetorian Guard up to support. Looks like they're going to start throwing everything they have. But still, his troops still waiting here, not doing anything. The Legatus pushing through now, getting ready for a charge. So holding this position is going to be really important, because if we lose here, we're going to have to reposition. That's just going to be a little bit hard. So this choke point right here is really important.
Yes, Commander!
There's something weird with the street here. You can't really place any troops in the street, which is why we have troops off to the side over there. So kind of weird, but just had to deal with it. Praetorian Guard now in the front, but not quite in position, still kind of moving around. And a lot of them are getting cut down by these pikes here. There's more Praetorian Guard right now than there is of like anything almost, except for some of these Avocati cohort. And Triarii, of course, but not too many of them. Praetorian Guard, now that they're not in their tortoise, are taking some damage, but it looks like our ranged troops are out of ammo. But he's moving up some of his mercenary Cretan archers, so should be a little bit helpful. Praetorian Guard here, still trying to push through, but being beaten back. This poor Praetorian soldier here. So again, Antony's Rome throwing their javelins, cutting down a lot of this. I believe that is the foot companions. Still with some hoplites in the back to support, and slingers. Now he's charging in his elephants. Great moment. Elephants are amazing. I love them. The mercenary Blair slingers getting pushed over a little bit by their own elephants. Poor guy's falling over again. Going in for the charge with my floppy hat guys again. Sacred Brand over here, still holding off. Elephants aren't quite going in yet, but they do have spears to throw from the back. Iranian slingers fighting the Praetorian Guard, which aren't going to last long, but if I can hold them from throwing any javelins, do whatever I can. Which is the real reason I pushed out some of my troops, is so that way when they're in melee, they can't really throw javelins. I mean, maybe they could, but not as many as they could if they weren't in melee. So, still, a lot of foot companions left here. We are running out of pikemen, but we still have a good amount. And, I mean, it might have helped them a little bit if they went for the Sacred Band right here, pushed through this small gap through here, so that way they wouldn't have to face off against the pikes and then push around this way. But it seems like they're going straight at the pikes, which is kind of interesting. Now some Onager hits coming in, taking out some troops. Some Triarii. That catapult again doing quite a lot of damage to these troops. It's still not anything too bad. I've moved up 2 units of Spartan pikemen now, holding off the center. So I've secured the center and I'm pushing them away. Over here though in this area with the Sacred Band and the African pikemen, I feel like they could have pushed through pretty easily had they just targeted that area from the beginning. Unless there were no pikemen, there's no pikemen really at all here. Just that small unit of African pikemen, but still not that many troops. And pushing through here, they could have secured somewhat of a victory in this small area. But again, they are running out of troops, so not super helpful. Praetorian Guard now pushing up. Their last hopes at attack. It seems like the Antony's Rome is running somewhere. I believe that the player left at this point, and or he got dropped. I'm not sure, but it looks like the AI is being kind of weird and running. But then again, we probably would have just held them off, and it's never fun to have AI take over, but we're still fighting off the Praetorian Guard here. The General Bodyguard getting into the mix now. the elephants pushing physically, literally pushing back these Praetorian Guard. And the shock cav here running right into pikes. A lot of pikes, that is. Getting cut down super easily. Poor men. More like the poor horses. Catapult hits again, rolling through here, but still not doing enough damage, and it's too late in the game. But there's not really much they can do. Legatus over here, pushing through. So we got Antony's Rome being kind of stupid. Not the player, but it's controlled by the AI. So they're leaving the castle, the walls. It's not technically a castle, or it's what's referred to at this time. It's more of just a city. The Legatus falling back with some of the Praetorian Guards still there, but it looks like they're starting to rout. So now I'm moving out my pikemen, we're moving out our elephants, and it looks like not a single war elephant was lost, which is pretty good. And it's as many elephants as we can get. On this part I wish we kind of had Cav, or we have the general, but the AI running everywhere. Literally just running away to come back again. Which is kind of weird. Looks like they're about to return again. Some troops still here though, putting up a fight, which, I mean, even though they're AI, they can still do damage. But the battle was already kind of turning towards our favor once we had all the troops here and we were killing off that first couple of waves that came in. Elephants coming in to finish the job. These Romans toppling over like little Jenga towers. It's kind of a weird analogy, but whatever. Foot companions again, a very cool unit pushing through here, killing off the rest of these armored legionaries, commanded by artificial intelligence. My slingers, I believe, still might have ammo. I'm not entirely sure. Some slingers running past mine, having a little slinger fight here. Sounded a little weird. What they're missing are some hats like mine. They don't have some cool hats. That's what they need. My 2 units of Spartan pikemen pushing up to, I believe, this area over here to defend the flank.
Advance at speed.
Mass charge from the AI. Again, the AI being weird. Leaving the castle just to come back again. Keep calling it a castle, more of a city. So at this point I'm just gonna forward it, not fast forward because that gets a little glitchy. Slingers throwing some shots here. Hitting this eagle cohort, getting some kills here. Again, coming back to where the Carthaginians once were, which in that they still do have some units, but not really that much. I just realized that the African war elephants are actually the general, which I believe that might be the general, but it might, yeah, it seems like that's the general, holding off against these legionaries. Foot companions moving around here, hitting these legionaries in the back, or troops. My pikemen. Again, a very pretty city. I guess that rhymes.
Attack that position!
But whatever. My pikemen are moving up now, taking on the rest of the exhausted troops. So they literally ran from the center of the city to the outer parts and came back again. pikemen fighting these troops, but at this point it's just charging in, not really much tactics or anything. This elephant going haywire. Here a huge mass of Carthaginian and Macedonian troops pushing through these Romans. My Rhodian slingers getting hits in the back of the Evocati cohort here. Now there's still troops running through the city, but again I'll just forward it. So we're beating them off, which is good. My general's still just waiting there. Now a lot of death there in this, in all of these areas really. And that's the end of the battle. It was a costly victory, obviously losing a lot of troops in the beginning and the outside, but then picking it back up and recollecting ourselves in the center to beat back the troops. And again, in this battle, it was really just the pikes that did a lot of damage and really helped us win the battle in that small checkpoint. So we're going to get into the stats here. So I deployed the most, just a little bit more than my friend here who's playing as Macedon. The Carthaginian player here, not from Carthage because it's not a country anymore, but the person playing is Carthage, and I played as the Spartans. The Romes here, Antony's Rome, definitely interesting. That's a really cool pack if you get the Emperor Edition. Well, I think everyone who has Rome 2 probably has it because it's the only one on Steam. But there's different ones like Octavian's Rome, which is just Augustus, and all the different Romes of that time. And the other two Romes, so getting quite a lot of kills, especially the Onager here, getting 200 kills, which is a lot. 127, so the artillery doing a really good job there, but just not enough damage on our pikes to make any sort of major breakthrough and get through our troops. The Macedonians not really in the battle too long, didn't get too many kills, but still helped out in the end, troop mass wise, and slowing down the Romans. The Carthaginians doing a good job, but then again, just taking a lot of casualties from those missiles before even getting into combat. My troops did pretty good. Overall, the pikes did pretty good here, especially this unit right here, getting 118 kills. And now my spears didn't really have too much of a chance. Neither did the Carthaginian army, because once we even got into combat, especially the African pikemen there, just got wiped out. We were outnumbered. But that was the battle. Pretty good victory, but definitely very costly. But anyway, thanks for watching. Leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.